Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome back to a special episode of Trash Talk. I'm the host who smokes the most, the moderator who can spot a hater, the MC who will never leave your heart empty, TJ O'Connor, and we're here for the press conference for CFX 49 going down. But quick, the sponsors of the show. Valhalla Combat Sports Incorporated, Inkshrinks Tattoo, the Striking Institute, the Fighters, and my mom. I'm joined today, you guys, by 4 badass dudes. I'm the 5th most badass dude on this call, and I'm happy to say it. We're joined by 2 of the premier fights that you guys are very excited to see going down August 28th, CFX 49 from the Wilmer Civic Center. The co-main event, Angel Pacheco versus Damion Hill, and the 155-pound amateur title fight, Vicente Flores Jr. versus Coty Milhausen. Thanks for joining me, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain.
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Awesome. So, got a couple questions here for you guys. This is obviously a different format, something I'm really excited to do, and I feel like it's going to give the fans an inside view into this fight and what's going on with it. So, I'm going to start out with a question. I'm going to go down to we're going to start with the title fight first. So, Vicente, you obviously coming off a big fight, fought the most recent out of the guys here on the card here today. How did the turnaround come around, and how did this fight come to be? Because I feel like, just from my outside opinion, the lockdown, as much as it affected everybody, it couldn't have came at a worse time for you. You had a great win literally on the last show that happened here in Minnesota. The shutdown happens. You're able to come again, fight last month. How did this fight come to be and get in the title fight versus Coty and Wilmer?
So the shutdown, that's a bummer for all of us, man. Of course, that fucking sucked. It kept a lot of us inactive and whatnot, but I did stay somewhat active per se. Not too much in the MMA community, but in BJJ, I participated in a lot of events with Valhalla Combat. So I try to stay as sharp as possible. And I stay active regardless. I always go to the gym. I didn't take much of a layoff, to be honest. At least not from the gym. But this fight just happened. I was supposed to fight Thomas Dirks. He didn't want to take it, and the other dude ended up taking up the fight. So I can only be grateful for fighters like that, man. We all want to keep doing these things. We all want to stay active, stay dedicated to what we want, to what we love. And thanks to my last opponent, he was able to keep me, give me at least a fight, so.
Yeah, definitely. And I said, very impressive as well. And Coty, coming to you, I mean, the fans of the show, very familiar with your story. One of my first interviews we did, where I first joined Trash Talk, was your retirement episode. And I mean, the support that got, and everything, the situation it was. And then last fall, we had a chance to speak. Everything was shut down, but you mentioned the comeback, and you mentioned on that episode, I went back and watched it, how, you didn't want to come back. You didn't want any tuna fights. You wanted to fight the best guys. You left ranked number 1. You were undefeated. You were the champion when you retired, never lost that belt. Did you know you were fighting for a title fight coming back? Was that just in your mindset? That was the fight that was coming. And how did this fight happen on your end to get squared up with Vicente?
No, not originally. Did I know I was going to fight for a title? We weren't sure if I was going to take a pro fight or if I was going to do another amateur fight. Originally, Joey Hart was supposed to fight for the title, but they couldn't find him a quality enough opponent to make it a title fight. They offered the fight to, I thought Brock said like 12 different guys. And Vicente was the only one that agreed to take the fight. And so we made it happen. And I'm glad to be fighting in my hometown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And I feel like this is a fight the fans are going, if you're not excited for, do a little research. These guys, they finish fights. I mean, through all the fights combined, I think there's been one, maybe two decisions total. So if you want to see a high action fight with the title on the line, this is a great fight. And one of the things you just mentioned, Coty, we're gonna come back to you with that, but I'm really glad that you brought it up. You mentioned this fight's happening in your hometown. Angel, getting the chance to fight in Wilmer, how did this happen? When did you start hearing rumblings about it? What was the excitement level, and was it pretty much get me an opponent, let's go?
I think they've been trying to get some fights in Wilmer for a while now. A guy named Pep has been working pretty hard to get that all set up and done, and talking to the commission and everything else. And I think there's a lot of hands involved to make it possible. First I ever heard of it was like actually being a possibility was about 2 or 3 months ago. Obviously right away I wanted to be on the card. Originally I have no idea how many opponents I've went through. I was supposed to fight a guy named Sam something for like North Star Combat a couple months ago, and then we moved the fight to this, and then he ended up not wanting to fight, and then I'm supposed to fight a guy from Iowa, and it's been all over the place. So they've been having kind of issues finding me fights. Honestly, personally, Brock had mentioned Damion's name originally, and I told him, the only way I'm fighting that guy is if he's the only option, like if there's no one else. And it ended up being that way, only because, like I told Damion too, like I like him as a person, but I kind of get it into a certain mindset when I'm gonna fight someone, because obviously if you've ever seen me fight, I try to hurt people. I don't, it's a violent thing, fighting, and we're trying to hurt each other ultimately in there. So I know it's going to be a really good fight, tough fight. I'm excited in that aspect, but at the same time, it's a little bittersweet to fight who I would consider somewhat of a friend. So, but yes, ultimately, I'm excited. He took the fight. I accepted also, so it's going to be. I personally believe it's going to be a war. I personally believe it's going to be my hardest fight.
Yeah, and I think the buzz and excitement when the fight was announced lets everybody know how the public feels about that as well. Going up to you, Damion, hearing what Angel said about that, knowing that, like you said, that there's a relationship there that for at least 15 minutes has to be put aside come on August 28th. What's your reaction to that, and from your perspective, how this fight came into play?
Well, I appreciate what Angel said, because I actually do consider him a friend too. I don't know. This is one of those things where I finally, after 4 years off, I finally was able to get clear to fight again. I took the 2 boxing matches. I thought I did pretty well, but I hate boxing. I'm never boxing again. I told Jim I want to do MMA. We started looking for MMA fights. Every time Jim said, "Hey, there's a fight for this person, this person, this person, this person," I'm like, "Oh, I like those guys. I'm friends with them," And then almost a year has gone by, and I haven't fought MMA. And Jim just says to me, like, "Damion, you can't just not want to fight people. This isn't about friendship and everything. This is about competition." And I was, and I got to listen, because he is right. So I just said, you know what? I don't care. Whoever is offered, I will take the fight. It doesn't matter. So eventually, I don't know how originally how the talks went down, but Jim had told me that I'd be an alternate against Angel and whoever his original opponent was. And whoever doesn't make weight or doesn't show up or gets hurt or whatever, I'd end up being the opponent then. And I said, okay, I'll take that, because I actually didn't think it was going to happen. I was like, yeah, whatever. Angel's going to show up. That's for sure. His opponent, I was assuming, was going to show up and everything. And then I was like, yeah, I'll just go watch the fights and fucking have a good time, But I didn't want to fight Angel, but when Jim said that I'd be the opponent, I couldn't not take the fight. And it's the same thing. It is bittersweet because you don't want to go out there and hurt a guy that you like, but you have to set that aside and try to hurt them. But then also, if I'm cut up and bleeding and everything, it's gonna be hard to look Angel in the eye after that, you know. So it's like it's one of those things, but it's all competition, and we are professionals. We understand that. We've been doing this for a long time, so it it is what it is, as Max Holloway would say. But the setting everything aside for the 15 minutes that we're going to be in the cage for is one of those things that I think I've had to do before, because Courtney Buck was one of those fighters that I had looked up to, I had admired a lot. When I got offered to fight him, he was one of the first guys ever was like, do I want to fight him? And then I'm like, I have to, if I'm trying to prove that I'm the best, and if I'm trying to make a statement, you know. And this is one of those things too, where Angel's not an easy fight. And I didn't figure I was going to get any easy fights coming back anyway. With where my record is and my experience level, it's not a good fight for people who are already being built up, who already are like I don't know, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 in LFA or whatever, and they're on win streaks regionally too. I'm not a smart fight for them, because one, I could win, and then you're losing to a guy that came off of a 4-year layoff and lost his last 3 fights. So those guys don't really want to take the fight. It's not a smart fight for them. But at the same time, no one who is inexperienced or just 1-2-0, no coach is going to let them take that fight. Angel's record is a little bit deceiving, because technically I think you're 3-1 as a professional, but all that fucking amateur experience that this dude had between boxing, kickboxing, and MMA, it's one of those things where if there was a fight, it would be a guy like Angel to be back, and it was one of those things that I had to be ready for. Not specifically Angel, but it was one of those things where I knew no matter who I fought, it was going to end up being a killer. I just was hoping it wasn't going to be a killer I liked, you know. So, but I do appreciate that Angel does feel somewhat of the same way. And I mean, and I feel the same way too about setting everything aside for the 15 minutes, because it's not personal, you know. And yeah, dude, I don't know. I think we both understand that.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a great for the fans to see this as well, just to open up this side of it, especially in the era of fighting where it seems you have to throw a guy under the bus to try to get a fight. You can build a fight from a positive standpoint. You know what's at. I know what I'm getting into. Let's go fight. And on August 28th, we're gonna all see that. And I mean, it's going to be an action-packed night of fights. You guys, aren't the only 2 fights, but these are the 2 fights that we had people reaching out. People wanted to ask questions. People wanted to see this happen. So, I mean, I feel like this is the point, just over, I don't know exactly when this is coming out. So we're going to say August 28th. We're just over a week and a half out at the time of filming here right now, just under 2 weeks. Coty, I'm going to start with you. No one, obviously game plan, nothing like that. But what do you got to bring to you? What do you got to do to make sure that when you step into the cage, and I want you to elaborate on it because we're coming back about the Wilmer question as well. When you walk out in your hometown, and I can only imagine the crowd's going to be going nuts. Fans miss fighting, fans want fighting, and you're doing it in your hometown. What do you have to bring with you on that night to make sure that when you exit the cage, there's a nice belt going over your shoulder?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be weird because usually I'm not the fan favorite. Usually I'm the guy getting booed. I'm not very well liked, so it's definitely going to be weird fighting in my hometown. I've sold more tickets than everybody else combined, so that'll be a little weird. But man, I've been busting my ass. When I came into training camp, I was 195 pounds. I've been lifting weights. I knew I was coming back, but I didn't want to come back and be a medium size 55 pounder. I wanted to come back and be a big 55 pounder. It was either going to be big at 55 or we're going to go 45. And I put on a lot of muscle and busted my ass to get there, to fill into the weight class. So I'm ready to transition to being a pro. I mean, these pro guys are fighting, cutting from 190, 200 pounds down to 155. It's been a little bit different, My last how many fights, I was married and everything was fine and dandy. Now that I'm on my own, I've had a lot more time to train. Not that I wasn't training before, but I'm in St. Cloud, 5-6 days a week now, training with Brock and Angel and Bobby and Joey. Noah Landers has been there. I mean, I'm training with the best of the best, and some days are good, some days are bad. But I'm getting better. I'm a better fighter now than I was when I had the belt, and I'm dangerous. I'm a dangerous fighter. I don't TKO people. I KO people. I got one punch knockout power, and I'm grateful that Vicente was the one guy that took the fight, because like I said, I think we offered the fight to 12 different people, and he's the only one that agreed to it because of my record, because of my background, and I'm going there to show that. I mean, I don't come here to make friends. After the fight's over, obviously I'm gonna be cheering for Vicente, but going into the fight, I'm gonna try hurting him, and I'm gonna try taking him out, and I'm gonna make it ugly, and without giving out game plans. I mean, and he's pretty wild himself. I think it's gonna be a wild fight. We both like to slug it out. I know he likes to wrestle a lot. I'm a college level wrestler, so it'll be an interesting aspect for him. I think it'll be a good test for him. It's going to be a good test for me because he's extremely wild, and I'm extremely wild, and I haven't fought anybody extremely wild. But I'm going to hit harder. I'm going to be in his face, and I'm going to make it ugly. I'm going to try hurting him. I'm going to try putting him away. I'm not trying to go 5 rounds again. And that's the other thing. I've gone 5 rounds. I've been in a title fight. I fought the best of the best. I put him away. I finish him. So I just got to stick to the game plan, and this is my fight to lose. I'm 5-0. I was the number 1 ranked guy. This is my fight to lose. So
I love the energy. I don't know if anybody else is picking up on this, but we got fights coming up on August 28th in Wilmer. Vicente, having a chance to listen to that, I'm not sure if you're a guy who, there's different levels of fighters. There's guys like me that if a 2-3-year-olds fought in an alley and it was recorded, I need to see it. And there's guys that don't like doing the research. I don't know what you've seen about Coty. This is a guy, like you said, I mean, I believe he retired right around the time you started fighting. But hearing that, doing your research, knowing what you're getting into coming into this fight, like I said, your last 2 fights, you beat ranked guys. You coming off of it, what do you have to bring to make sure that you get your first belt and leave the cage victorious on enemy territory?
I mean, to me, any territory is enemy territory, man. I'm gonna walk in there and do my thing. Of course, Coty Milhausen, it's not just somebody that you're gonna run over. Not at all. I'm gonna give him enough respect in the cage, but not too much. Obviously, I know the dude's strong. Dude's got power, 1 knockout power, but I think I possess all the tools, to shut that down. College level wrestler. I didn't make it that far, but we'll see. I know for a fact it's gonna be a fucking war, man. I'm coming for blood. He's coming for fucking blood too. I can't expect nothing less. We're gonna see who the better man is. At the end of the day, like you said, we're gonna be in there, tops 5 minute rounds. I'm not pushing I'm not gonna push for 5-minute rounds. You know, for 5 rounds. Sorry, my bad. You know, I'm gonna try and put him away just as much as he wants to put me away. You know, at the end of the day, we're both athletes. I'll shake his hand. You know, I'll cheer him on as well.
I love it. If you haven't bought a ticket, go back and watch the last 4 minutes of this just one more time and go buy a couple more tickets. I'm loving the energy here. Now, coming up to you, Damion, this is a guy who you've competed with. I mean, we had the kickboxing match for Valhalla last year. But that wouldn't say that was, never necessarily 100% go. But you guys have worked together before. You've been in a room. You've touched Angel before. Knowing that, what do you have to make sure that you bring with you physically, mentally, whatever it may be, to make sure that you get your hand raised in this comeback fight?
Man, that's a tough question because it's not necessarily what I have to bring, it's what I have to avoid. If I can do my best to avoid Angel's best setups and his best strikes, I think I can end up winning this fight for sure. I don't know. When it comes down to planning a victory, this fight could go so many different ways, and it's insane. Angel's known as a boxer. Everybody knows his hands are registered as lethal weapons. So, but he also has kicks too. He just recently got his brown belt. And the thing is that I mean, I'm a purple belt, and I train with brown belts and high level purple belts every day. So it's like on the ground. I don't know who's the favorite. On the feet, who's the favorite? When I have been training my cardio and working hard, I'm dangerous, and it's one of those things. Angel's never not working hard, so he's always dangerous. It's if I did enough and if I can avoid what he has to bring. And honestly, hopefully there's something that goes on where we're about to throw a strike and I graze him with the side of the glove and it creates a cut or something and I end up winning due to cut. I would love for that to happen. That's the ideal way to win right there.
Angel, similar question. All the pretense. You've been in the room with them. You've been in the ring with them. What do you have to make sure that you bring with to make sure you get your hand raised in your hometown for this fight?
Honestly, like how you said, the exhibition thing, I kind of just threw that out the window because obviously neither of us took it too serious. With that said, I know Damion isn't taking me lightly, and he should know I'm not taking him lightly. I know he has big power. I know he has unorthodox striking. He has good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu. I've competed with him actually in jiu-jitsu even also. So, like I said, it's not going to be a walk in the park. I feel like it is going to be a war. I feel like it's going to push me. But when I decide to fight someone, I go in there trying to pretty much make them never want to fight me again. So, like I said before, he's my friend. But I'm gonna put that aside and I'm gonna go after him, just like I go after everyone else. And I'm gonna push the pace as much as I can, just like everyone else. With that said, like I said, I'm gonna give, how Vicente said, I'm gonna give enough respect to where I'm not running into shots and I'm not getting hurt by anything stupid. But at the same time, I'm gonna push him until he can't go anymore. That's always my game plan, no matter who I fight. I feel like if you're good enough at what you do, you can tell the person what you're gonna do and do it and win still. So yeah, I'm just gonna push the pace, throw as much volume at him as I can, stop any wrestling, stop any big shots from landing. If I have to, use my jiu-jitsu. Like I said, whatever it takes. I honestly do think this is gonna be the hardest fight of my career. He has 20 professional fights, and that's nothing to sneeze at. He has a lot of experience in the professional ring. But I do feel like the longer a fight goes, it tends to lean in my favor a little bit. Obviously, Damion's been in title fights, professional title fights. He beat Billy Jenkins for a title at Savage, and that was a 5 round fight, or 5 minute 5 round fight, and he won a decision. So he's always he's normally in shape. I'm assuming he's going to be in shape for this fight as well.
We'll see.
Um,
Well, I'm trying. We'll see. I think I got 15 minutes. I got at least 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm expecting the best possible Damion. I'm assuming he's not coming out of retirement just to lose a fight. So I'm prepared. I feel ready. And this is a big fight for me. This is very important to me. I recently, about a month or two ago, quit my job, and I've been full-time training this whole time, from before even the Wilmer fights were announced and stuff like that. So this is huge for me. Personally, it's kind of an eye-opening thing. However I perform is going to kind of, in my opinion, show me where I need to improve, obviously. But on top of that, it's a big leap of faith for me, my family, my wife, my kid. So I have to do well. There is no other option. I cannot do what I did in Atlanta the last time I fought. I just gotta win. My only option.
Man, I've said it once, but I'm going to keep repeating myself. The energy on this phone call, I'm picking it up. If the fans and the watching the video, if you're not, check your pulse right now. While I'm repeating myself, August 28th, the Wilmer Civic Center. Get your tickets from nitrotix.com. Select any one of these 4 fighters, whoever you're going to see. Make sure to come out and support. There's live fights, again, in Wilmer, Minnesota, August 28th. Before we start wrapping this up, though, always want to give the fighters a chance to shout out any teammates, sponsors, anybody who's been there for you leading up to this fight. Let's not, I don't want to play the Grammy music, boys, so let's keep it nice and short. But I want to start with you, Coty.
All right. I'd like to thank Brock at start. Starting CFX back up's a big deal. I know he's working to get his promoter license, and we're looking to get more fights in central Minnesota, and start building up these central Minnesota guys, not just the city folks. Everybody in Wilmer, Peps, Dustin, Eric Holeen, or Eric Means, Eric Holeen, Andy, Joel Bauman, obviously they're starting their own promotion. Pep did a lot of work getting everything set up in Wilmer. They had to go through the city council to get it approved, and they get approved by the city attorney. There's a lot of work behind the scenes to get this done. Wilmer's never had a combat sporting event ever. They've never seen anything like this. And you're talking the top 3 fights. You got Joel Bauman versus the number 5 ranked guy in Canada. You got Damion the Wolverine Hill versus Angel Pacheco, and you got me and Vicente. Those are 3 fights that could headline any card. All my sponsors, I'd like to thank them, and then everybody at Wrestle Jitsu, Jake Clark's Wrestling Gym, and Start BJJ, Angel Pacheco, Joey Hart, Cole Seifert, Bobby Lee, Noah Landris, making me a better fighter. It's fun because we're all right there at the same, building each other up. We all got something we brought to the table and making each other better. I like that. I think that's it. My family.
You can't forget the family.
I guess, whatever.
Definitely. Vicente, the floor is yours, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. But, well, first of all, like I said, COVID was fucking horseshit, right? So, I got to give a big thanks to, the trashiest network in MMA right now. So, Trash Talk, for keeping me active. Thank you guys, for everything you guys have done and put on the shows that you've put on for us and invited us to. Of course, my coaches, Juan Hernandez, Steve Hernandez, or Steve Moore, my bad. Sorry about that.
Steve is
the
a
Hernandez brothers, the Hernandez brothers, we all become family. Fuck it. It is what it is, man. My brothers, they recently, have been tagging along as well. Alexis Flores, Eugene Flores, Panda, the Panda Tribe Gym. I've done some sparring over there as well, and just everybody and anybody that has been there to support us. Including if you're my fan or not my fan, I don't fucking care. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Damion Hill.
Yeah, the Ink Shrinks Tattoo, they've been my longest acting sponsor. I don't know, I got all my tattoo work done from them. I don't know, James Clark Sports Psychology, there's been points and times in my fights where I'm winning or I'm doing well, and I just, you find a way to lose the fight, and it's always been submissions. It's always been the same way, the same two. And I don't know, we've been working on that. So shout out to James Clark Sports Psychology and Hypnosis Therapy. Striking Institute, they're sponsor of the show. Shout out to them. And then Josh Clark, I work with him a lot. Aaron Shaw, Marty Lanequist, David Peterson, all those guys. They've been amazing work for me. Obviously, James Clark, my head coach also. And then, again, another shout out to Josh Clark, the new owner of Strike Fitness in Arden Hills. So it's good to see. I've known that kid since he's 8, and now he's a gym owner. Dude, it's pretty sick. So shout out to him. And yeah, that's about it.
Definitely shout out to Josh. And Mr. Pacheco, wrap us up.
Couple of my sponsors, IRT, my former employees or employers also, the Meridian Disc Institute in Wilmer, chiropractor that I go to out there. Start BJJ, Brock Larson, obviously my head coach. He's been there for 10 years now, almost 11, training me and, guiding me through this whole crazy path of fighting and everything. All the teammates, obviously, Cody's been coming up, Noah Lansreth on the weekends, and Bobby Lee's always there, Joey Hart, Cole, all those guys, everybody that I pretty much grind with every day. I see them guys every day. Biggest supporters, obviously my parents, siblings, and my wife. Like I said, we took a huge leap of faith. I ended up quitting my job a couple months ago, and she's supporting me in that. Not many women would do that, especially after having a baby. So I've been loving being a stay-at-home dad, training, like 4 times a day or whatever it is. So I'm very blessed to have that person as a partner. So Jessica, love you. And that's about it.
That's awesome. Just listening to you guys, the energy, I've said that 5 times, but I can feel it. I'm so excited for these fights. August 28th, Wilmer Civic Center. Get your tickets at nitrotix.com. Select your favorite fighter. Should be one of these 4. Again, the 155-pound amateur title, Vicente Flores Jr. versus Coty Milhausen. The co-main event of the evening, Damion the Wolverine Hill versus Angel Pacheco. And in the main event, Joel Bauman he's the hometown guy. So be sure to come out, support your fighters, support these guys, support the whole card. I like what Vicente said, whether you're coming to cheer for a guy or boo for a guy, come out and support. And this has been great, guys. I appreciate all your time. I'm TJ O'Connor. Like and subscribe to Trash Talk with Damion Hill and TJ. I don't know why I threw Hill in there. Screw that guy. Don't be a hoe.